Hey guys, X-Saber here on Saber Selections, giving you a very special X-Saber update here in the January list. Boy oh boy, Secrets of Eternity I think was a really underrated pack. I mean, with all the support it gave to the older archetypes, obviously everyone counted it out because it didn't give a lot of support to Shaddolls and maybe Tower Knights, but really, when you think about it, I mean, Burning Abyss got their cards, Necros is coming out, they got an introductory thing, Infernoid's completely just like made a whole deck, and Kleeport's got the most probably, but the biggest thing I'm glad about is the older stuff that got their support. Obviously, Volcanics got a great card. Dragooni's got their card. Constellars, X-Sabers got one card and another card to come out in the next set as well. So we are giving you a deck profile, and we are giving you an updated deck. I wanted to give you an updated deck anyway, but this is our little updated version. So here we go, guys. Another great remake of an older deck. Of course, one of my faves. Got my Valentine's Day sleeves all out and ready for you here in what's about to be middle of February. So, to start off the list, we have 3 copies of Dark Soul. To be honest, I didn't watch my last deck profile in a while on this deck. I forgot if I was running this at 2 or 3 at the time. But I did definitely try cutting this to 2. It just was it's too good at 3. You have to be aggro with it now. You have to like attack into stuff, take damage, which would be really good when we get the new card. This way they take the damage. It's just the fact that, you know, you want to get your searches out as soon as possible. You want to go through your deck as soon as possible, which is basically the idea of this deck. It's a very we're playing a much more aggressive X-Saber build, so 3 copies of Dark Soul to set up your plays is pretty good. The idea is to win in 3 turns. We then play 3 copies of Fall Troll. He is your power play card, he is your boss, he is your go-to guy. You have to play 3. You don't mind drawing him. Doesn't really clog as much as you think. I have ways of unclogging him. We'll get to that in a little bit. Win 3 copies of Bogart Knight. So Bogart Knight is a really good card. He's basically like a Vega of the deck. The only downside to him is you can't synchro summon with him for other than X-Saber monsters, which is a huge downside because that means, like, you know, you can do a lot more stuff. You could Black Rose, you could Dark Strike Fighter, but you know, Konami has to restrict us in every way possible. So, but still a very good card. For the 2 ofs, we run 2 copies of Full Hell Knight, a very good level 3 tuner. Of course, if you attack a set monster and you destroy it by battle, you can then special summon a X-Saber monster level 4 or lower from your graveyard, and of course, once in a while, the effect where only once, when your opponent declares an attack, you can negate it. So that's that. We then run 2 copies of the level 2 single X-Saber. X-Saber Peshul. And Peshul is just good stopping attacks and is your reinforced truth target. I now run, once again, I run 2 copies of Emmer's Blade. Emmer's Blade is a card I cut for a while. I put it back because, again, you have to be aggressive with these cards. You have to know when to set them, but most of the time you just attack into their stuff. You know, it is what it is. You take damage, but in the long run, once you set up your hand and your field, you'll be aight. So 2 copies of that. And then for the 1 of, we run 1 copy of Double X-Saber Regigara. Alright guys, well this is the first deck that I have tried without the Fire Fist engine, and it's actually worked pretty good. And so with all the floaters in the game right now, I wanted to test something other than stuff that just popped. So we're running now more monsters that help further your game state. So we're gonna shine off these bad boys, and these 4 monsters are by far the MVPs. We have 2 copies of Spell Striker and 2 copies of TG Striker. Now these cards are cards that I tried in, obviously, UAs, and I just thought that this would definitely be the most beneficial deck possible using these cards. The fact that you can target him for Reinforced Truth, as well as make a quick Gotems with him and Redox, and you can make a quick Beast with these two alone, and you also always have a spell in the grave because you always pretty much search this with Rhoda. So these are always live, these cards. So the fact that you can special him, normal summon another level 3, overlay into X-Saber Invoker, special summon a Bogart Knight, and now you have 2 X-Saber monsters on the field, so you can special your full choice from your hand. So these cards alone, like, debrickify all your hands. So I just love these. This is like the core 4. Like, I'm never gonna like make another X-Saber deck without these cards. They're just way too good. So you have to run 2 of each. You can try more than 2 of one of them. I wouldn't try 3 of each, but I just think 2 and 2 is a good number for this. So, and for the last monster, we run 1 Redox. So that's Redox. So that's it for the monsters. So rather hefty monster lineup. It's a lot. It's a lot of monsters. So, but you have to run it. It's you're trying to win in 3 turns. Basically, you're using your first turn to set up, your second turn to get your cards, and your third turn to finish them off. Alright, for the spells, we run 1 copy of the brand new Gotem Second Call. Now, Gotem Second Call, I'll try to focus it on shot here. I did the same thing with the Dragoonity card. So, if you control an X-Saber Synchro monster, you can target 2 X-Saber monsters in your graveyard, special summon both targets, ignoring their summoning conditions but changing their attack to 0. Also, destroy them during the end phase of this turn. You can activate 1 Gotem Second Call per turn. You can conduct your battle phase the turn that you activate this card. Now, the fact that you cannot conduct your battle phase is not that great. That's basically what ends your play, right there. Like, you can't attack. So that's a huge downside. That's a big letdown. That was a big letdown when they revealed that effect. However, you do make X-Saber Synchro monsters quite often. You get this effect off a lot. I would say, you make Hyunlai once every duel. If you special summon Hyunlai, activate this card, so you pop their back row first, then you activate this card, and say all this goes through, you get your synchro materials back, you make maybe another Hyunlai, and then you overlay for a rank 6 or something like that. So the fact is that it doesn't say you can only summon X-Sabers for the rest of the turn. That's good that they don't have that restriction on it. So you can go to other level 6s. So that's good. And also the fact that you can special summon your Fultro, which is the best thing about this card, is good. So I like the idea of this card. I just think that it would clog at multiples, and so therefore you only run 1. However, when the new card comes out, which is the epitome of bring back an archetype, if you do not know what Saber Reflect does, I would look it up. It's very underrated. If you read it once, maybe it wouldn't make sense to why it's so great. But it is. I will go on Asian Eyes and watch some videos of the card. It's sick. You can basically attack into towers with Pashul. Doesn't get destroyed because Pashul can't be destroyed at battle. And you activate the Saber Reflect, they take the damage, and then you get to search. You can pretty much search out this card because it's Saber or Gotem's cards. So just a little bit to think of that there. So one of this. I'll leave that there in the shot. I cut down Tanky to 2. I don't run Tiger King anymore, and I also don't run the Fire Fist anymore. So I just run 2 of that. I run 3 Rhoda. Standard, especially with the new cards we're trying out now. I then run 3 Upstart. So Upstart is like you want to get through your deck as soon as possible, so you're playing with a 37 card deck. So yeah. And to round out the spells, 2 MST. You could play Snatch Deal or like Raigeki. I just feel like with the amount of push you're having with this deck, you don't really need it. You're just trying to use your own You can rely on your extra deck enough. Like you run a pretty good extra deck. I think you can rely on it enough to the point where you can push back anything that they have. If you do your plays correctly, that is. 2 got call because it's broke. Another card that's searchable with Saber Reflect. Just saying. I play 3 Reckless Greed. Now, Reckless Greed is a card that I use for decks that don't have a lot of plus power, and this certainly does not have that. With the additions, though, of I was running 3 tanky. I run 2 now. So with 2 tanky and 3 Rhoda and 3 upstart, you have a lot of deck thinning going on. But with Reckless Greed, I think that just gives you that additional draw power that you need to gather your resources, because it's just one of those decks like Dragoonies that if you have your resources, you can pretty much go off and win. So that's why I like 3 of that. I then run two copies of Oasis of Dragon Soul, newer card. It's basically like a Call Haunted. And the XM a Worm, I run it in Sylvan's now, which I'll give you an update list for that. But yeah, so it just it's a good card. Just special back your Dark Soul. Say this gets MST, you chain, summon Dark Soul. Dark Soul gets effect at the end of the turn. So I mean, just a great card. So 2 Oasis, and to round it out, of course, the staple and the trap lineup for this deck, Reinforced Truth. You have to run it. So that's it for the traps. So you got some traps in there. I really like the ratios of this deck. You obviously gonna run a lot of monsters always with this deck. If you don't run a lot of monsters, you're not gonna do so well. For the extra deck, we run 1 copy of X-Saber Your Bellum because of the restriction Bogart Knight has. You only summon X-Saber monsters, so if you open him and Full Helm Knight, you can make him and this guy, Salza. So I like running 1 of each. Then we run the 2 copies of Ionlie. It's just a broken card. It's a triple MST, which is why we only really need 2 MST main, because of the fact that you have Ionlie and you have a lot of popping power. And then of course 1 Gotham's to round out the X-Saber monster in the extra deck list. Yeah. So then we run for the 1 level 5, we run Beast. You're not sure you have Beast, you can make it pretty easily. So I like 1 Beast. For the 6s, we run a Goyo, and I run 1 Volcan the Divine. I pulled it in the Christmas opening Legendary 5Ds thing, so I thought I'd test him. He does pretty well. He's actually kind of like a synchro version of Castell. I didn't know what he did, to be honest with you. So 1 of him, and we run 1 Scrap. Just kind of threw it into the shot right there. 1 Scrap. 1 Crimson Blader because it beats just so many things right now. Especially in the meta. And then Leo, because you're not expecting to beat Burning Abyss, but if you can make this, you have a chance. So yeah, Leo. And for the XZs, we run, I lied about the X-Saber, we have 1 more. 1 X-Saber Invoker. He's a lot more alive, especially in this build when you have your Spell Strikers. So he is a lot more livid in the deck, and I would actually, if you have a opportunity to bounce back a card with M7, it's not always a bad option to bounce back Invoker, because you make it maybe more than once. I wouldn't run more than 1, but in a time where maybe your opponent doesn't have a monster, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bounce back your own Invoker, because you're probably gonna make this. You can make this twice, especially with the Spell Strikers. It's a lot more alive of a card. So I like Invoker, and then we run Exit a Knight for our 1 rank 4 of the deck. So if you have to make a rank 4, it's pretty much the best one. And then of course, to round out the list, 2 secret rares. Photon Strike Bouncer, and the MVP of the extra deck, Constellar Ptolemy M7. He is just too good. The fact that you can detach Full Troll, and if you have a target in the grave, you can target another Full Troll or whatever, and bring it back and special it again, or bounce back one of their monsters, and the whole thing. And then Bouncer because it locks down stuff. So yeah. So that's it, guys. It's my post Secrets of Eternity / Valentine's Day / post, I guess, January 2015 format deck of X-Sabers. So, I mean, obviously, every deck has a lot of ways to play. I still agree with 3 tankies opposed to 2, but I just couldn't fit it. I'll just have to take something out. I still agree, you know, Fire Fist do work in this deck. I just think that the mind state you want to have is you want to get through your deck as fast as possible, and you want to make your plays and further your game state as much as possible to just compete with the other deck, your opponent, and you know you gotta go off soon. So you want to get this guy out as soon as possible, and you want to search, and you want to you just want to make your plays. So, you know, this is a very good deck. It's fun to work with. It's fun to test. I would always play some kind of version of this deck on the side. And yeah, so that's my deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me what you think. Leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, for now, here from Saber Selections, this is Hank Saber signing off from the tube. Peace.